Hi, Ethan. Ethan, are you here?
Hello?
Hi, my name is Tiancy. Sorry, I had some restart computer issues where my Zoom was updating. So I'm gonna extend the class by 4 minutes because of that, okay?
Wait, I don't see you.
You
Oh,
don't
I see it now. I see it.
you see the screen, right?
I think you're being a little laggy.
A little laggy.
It's really laggy for me.
It's really laggy for you. It seems to be working on my side. I can hear you well. Can you hear me?
Yeah, yeah, I can hear you. But
Okay.
earlier it was really laggy.
Oh, okay. Okay, so let's start class. So since it's a new class and I'm your new teacher, I don't really know what your writing skill is at. So I want to include a writing portion where you will be writing about this picture. Like, so this picture right here, I want you to create a story based off this picture. Is that okay?
Sure.
I just want to get your writing style, see what level you're at, and then we'll go into a deep dive of our PowerPoint, okay?
Okay.
This picture. Um, it should be very short. It can be 3 to 4 sentences, and I'll give you 5 minutes.
Okay.
So this is the picture. I'll keep it here.
Should I just write it with the pen thing?
Ready?
Like this pen thing? This thing?
No, 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 in the chat. So you would write it here
Where?
in the meetings chat. I just sent a message. You see it?
Um, mm, no. Oh
The,
yeah, I know how to chat. I know how to chat.
okay, sounds good. Okay. So let's start off like that. Just a quick, really, really quick exercise, and then we're going to go into deep diving where it's going to be about reading and writing. And yeah. So I'll start my timer and I'll check back within like 4 minutes.
Okay. Your own. Oh no, I deleted the chat. Done.
Okay, perfect. So let's take this up.
Okay.
Can you please read this for me? Oh, sorry.
Okay. Uh oh, I already have it. The king looked out the window, anxious and scared. The upcoming war was about to unfold. He had been preparing for weeks, but through the telescope, he could see that the army was much bigger than he expected.
Good job. So I can tell that you have great writing style. It's just a couple things. Um, Before I start correcting it, I just want to quickly go over how we correct our language, your writing, sorry. So what it will be would be is that mine will be in red, and I'm never going to delete your work. I will cross it out and make my own corrections, okay?
Okay.
Okay, so the king looked out the window, anxious and scared. Well, he was preparing for weeks. So the thing is, you've got a little bit of grammar. So we're going to say comma, but through the telescope, comma, he can tell, he can tell, he can see
Yeah, he could see.
that the army was much bigger than he expected. So we can even say he saw because he's looking through the telescope. So we're going to cross that out and just say he saw. Okay?
Okay.
But through the telescope, he saw that the army was much bigger than he expected. All right, good job. So now let's deep dive into our lesson plan today. So we're going to go over some reading and some new words. You're gonna let me know if these are new words for you because then I know to adjust it for the next class and give you a little bit harder. If it's too hard for you, it could be easier. So the first one,
Okay.
can you read this for me?
Monarch.
Okay, what is a monarch?
It's kind of like ruler.
A ruler, like a king or a queen. So in this case, Britain's head of state is a constitutional monarch, which means it has very limited powers. And King Charles III is a monarch. Do you understand?
Yep.
All right. So let's go into a deep dive about Charles III, the monarch. Can you read this for me?
At the moment the queen died, the throne passed immediately and without ceremony to the heirs. Charles, the former Prince of Wales, but there are a number of practical and traditional steps which he must go through to be crowned king. The throne, the state of being a ruler, here, a ruler family member who has the entitlement of a monarch of the monarch position. What will he be called? He will be known as King Charles III. That was the first decision of the new king's reign. He could have chosen from any of his full names: Charles, Philip, Arthur, George, reign, the period of time when the king or queen rules a country. He is not the only one who faces change of title. Prince William and his wife Catherine are now titles Duke and Duchess.
Duchess.
Cornwall, Duchess and of Cornwall and Cambridge, and the king has conferred on them the title of Prince and Princess Wales. Duke, a man of very high rank in the country. Duchess, the title of a woman who is married to a duke, or who has the rank of duke. There, there is also a new title for Charles's wife, Camilla, who becomes the queen.
Camilla? Can you say Camilla?
Camilla, who becomes the queen consort. Consort is the term used for the spouse of the monarch.
Okay, let's read on.
King Charles III, the new monarch. Formal ceremonies. Charles will be officially proclaimed king on Saturday. This will happen at St. James Palace in London, in front of a ceremony body known as the accession council, accession, rising to a high position like becoming a king. This is made up of members of the Privy Council, a group of senior MPs, past and present and peers, as well as some senior civil servants, Commonwealth High Commissioners, and Lord Mayor of London, privy to be told information that is not told to many people. MP, member of the Parliament.
Parliament. Can you say that word?
Commonwealth is my swim team.
Pardon?
Commonwealth is actually the name of my swim team.
Oh, really? That's cool.
Parliament, right?
Yeah, good job. Um, what made you guys name the swim team Commonwealth?
I don't really know. The coaches kind of like did it and I joined maybe later. I joined like maybe a year ago.
Oh, you know what Commonwealth is?
It's a swim club.
No, but
And
yeah,
it's
what?
a kind of small though.
Do you know
Like
what meaning means though?
no, I don't think so.
It's basically an independent country or community. So it
Okay.
means like it's a group of people who are self-governing and voluntarily joined. There's a lot of people, a lot of states that are actually Commonwealth as well. Okay, so that being said, let's go into writing a short paragraph about politics using parliament, the lawmaking branch of government, a session, rising to a high position like becoming a king. So I want you to write a paragraph about any type of politics, but it has to include the words parliament and a session. Now I'm going to give you 10 minutes for that. Is that okay?
Wait, so Parliament means the lawmaking branch of government.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, I'm going to start my timer. Ethan, are you back? Ethan.
Oh, I just crashed.
Oh, okay. Uh,
Can I switch computers? This computer is kind of laggy or something like that.
okay, that's fine. Go ahead.
你就用他那个，我马上。
I'll switch it pretty soon. So I'm gonna first try to type it first.
Yeah, maybe type your answer out, submit it, and then transfer your computer, and I'll read your answer in that between.
All right.
But I expect it to be around, since it's 10 minutes. Oh,
I'm back.
hello?
I have to leave for this one. Okay, that's good.
Okay, perfect. So it's supposed to be 6 to 7 sentences, okay?
Okay.
Sorry, 78. It's 10 minutes. I forgot.
I'm done.
All right, let's take this up.
I don't know if it might count. It's kind of a little story, I guess.
That's okay. I didn't tell you how to write it. I just told you what to write about, right? So you can write it as a story, you can write it as an essay, you can write it as anything. All right, so can you read your answer for me? Give me 1 second. I'm going to place the note.
Right. The parliament decided to make a building. The building had lots of different floors for government officials. The building was so successful that the whole world knows its name. Sadly, a tragic accident led to the building burning down. The building has been rebuilt, but nothing could match the first one. Eventually, they gave up and made a new design. That was their best decision they ever made. The building turned out to be the most successful building in the world.
Okay. The parliament decided to make a building. Okay, so you can this building, not the building, this building. We already talked about the building, so we can just say this building had lots of different had we can say different floors for government officials. The building was so successful the whole knew its name. Not known,
Yeah.
knew. Apostrophe S. Sadly, comma, a tragic accident led
Yeah, that's kind of, I think that's lead.
yeah, you can say led to the building being burnt down, okay? So
Yeah, burnt down.
see how you went from past tense and all of a sudden it's present tense? You have to be consistent to one tense. So led to the building being burnt down.
Yeah.
The building has been rebuilt, but nothing, comma, so you gotta add a comma here. But nothing could match the first one. Eventually, comma, they gave up and made a new design. And it was the best decision ever. We can say it. And it was the best decision ever made. The new building, cup of tea. The new building turned out to be the most successful building in the world. Okay, however, you're missing something. Do you know what you're missing?
Mm.
Read the question again.
Oh, write a short paragraph about politics using parliament.
And
The lawmaking branch of government and accession rising to a high position, like becoming a king.
yes, did you use the word accession?
Oh, no.
Okay, so I'm going to give you a couple minutes to add on to your story and use the word accession, okay?
But how do I add on? Because I already typed it. I don't think I can.
That's okay. It's still in the chat, right? So you can just, you don't have
Yeah.
to retype it. You can just add on to it as a new paragraph.
Oh. Wait, what about like, oh,
Write it in the comments. So
reply?
yeah,
Or,
reply to it,
all right.
right?
Wait, what's the word again?
Accession. So it's a rise to a high
Becoming
position, like becoming a king.
fierce. Wait, is the word accession? Is
Yeah.
the word accession? Okay. Does that count?
Pardon?
Does the word accession to count?
Accession. Mm, no, because that's a verb. We're talking about a noun, right? So it's accession.
Mm. Can we do like eventually he accession or something like that?
You can say eventually the accession of the building's name reached the world, okay? That's one way you can do that. So let me write that down for you. You see how you said, oh, see how the
Oh,
building turned out to be the most successful building? What I was hoping that you would do is you say instead, the buildings name was accessioned experienced an accession to become to the most successful building in the world. Do you understand?
yeah.
So that's what I wanted you kind of to like add on to, but that's okay. We're still
I
learning.
think I think I'm good with this one because I already started on.
Okay,
It's kind of like add-on.
okay.
It's not really about the boating anymore.
Okay, let me just add it on as another paragraph. Okay. One day, comma, a guy named James Edwin. So anytime you name a person, it always has to be has to have commas before and after it, okay?
Oh, okay.
Went there to apply for a job. He got a low paying one, but he still worked. Okay, he got a low paying job or position. Don't say one, be more specific. But, comma, but he still worked hard. His hard work paid off, and eventually the accession of his job and rank raised to the top. Yeah, so I'm gonna actually add another comma behind eventually because it gives a dramatic pause, which we want to talk about. The accession of his job and rank raised to the top. He got paid over $1 billion a year.
A million.
Sorry, $1 million a year. Okay, and don't forget to add the period.
I did. I think. Wait, I did it.
No, it's not there at the end of the sentence. Oh,
It's there.
it didn't copy. That's what happened.
Yeah.
Okay, here. All right, good job. So let's move on. Let's learn more about King Charles III. Can you read it for me?
More than 700 people are entitled in theory to attend, but given the short notice, the actual number is likely to be far fewer. At the last accession council in 1952, about 200 attended. At the meeting, the death of Queen Elizabeth was announced by the Lord President of the Privy Council. Currently, Penny Mordaunt, MP, and a proclamation will be read aloud. Proclamation of emancipation, liberator, setting someone free. Emancipation Proclamation made by Lincoln in 1863, freeing slaves. The word of proclamation can change, but it has traditionally been a series of prayers and pledges, commending the previous monarch and pledging support for the new one. This proclamation is then signed to a number of senior figures, including the Prime Minister, the Archbishop. Bishop is a very high position in Catholic Church of Canterbury, and the Lord Chancellor,
Chancellor?
as well
Chan
Chancellor,
yeah,
as well as these ceremonies. There will be attention paid to what might have been
alter.
altered, added, or updated as a sign of a new era.
Good job. And then,
King Charles, the new monarch. The the king's first declaration. The king will then attend a second meeting of the Accession Council, along with the Privy Council.
Privy.
This is Privy Council. This is not a swearing in. It at the start of British monarch's reign in the style of some other heads of the state, such as the President of the U.S. Instead, there is a declaration made by the new king and in line with a tradition dating from the early 18th century. He will make an oath to preserve the Church of Scotland. After a fanfare of trumpeters, a public proclamation will be made declaring Charles as the new king. This will be made from a balcony above Friary Court in St. James Palace by an official known as the Garter King of Arms. Fanfare. A loud, short piece of music played on brass instrument, often to announce something important.
Good job. All right, so this is King Charles. This is where Queen Elizabeth II crowns her son, Charles, as the Prince of Wales in 1969. Let's move on to talk about more about King Charles.
He will call God Save the King, and for the first time since 1952, the national anthem will be played with the words "God Save the King." Gun salutes will be fired in Hyde Park, the Tower of London, and from naval ships. And proclamation announcing Charles as the King will be ready in Edinburgh, Cardiff, and Belfast. Naval belonging to the country's navy. The coronation, this the symbolic high point of the accession will be the coronation when Charles is formally crowned. Because of the preparation needed, coronation is not like
Nation?
the
Coronation.
coronation
Good job. You
is
said it
not
like
likely.
times, but then I don't know what happened this one.
The coronation is not likely to happen very soon after Charles's accession. Queen Elizabeth succeeded to the throne in February 1952, but was not crowned until June 1953. For the past 900 years of the coronation has been held in Westminster Abbey. William of the Conqueror was the first monarch to be crowned there, and Charles to be the 40th. Coronation, a ceremony at which a person is made king or queen. Abbey, a building where monks or nuns live or used to live. Some abbeys are now used as churches. King Charles III, the new monarch. An Anglican religious service carried out by the Archbishop of Canterbury at the climax of the ceremony. He will place St. Edward's crown on Charles's head, a solid gold crown, dating from 1661. Anglican, relating to the Church of England or an Italian church connected with the Archbishop. A bishop of the highest rank who is in charge of churches and other bishops in a particular large area. This is the centerpiece of the crown jewels at the Tower of London and is only worn by the monarch at the moment of coronation itself, not least because it weighs a hefty 2.23 kilograms, almost 5 pounds. Hefty, large in amount or size. Unlike royal weddings, the coronation is a state occasion. The government pays for it and ultimately decides the guest list. Wait, I can't really hear you right now.
I'm so sorry, I was muted. I didn't realize. Okay, so as I was saying, this is King Charles with his two kids. Do you know who his two kids are?
No.
Do you remember Charles and Henry, the princes from England?
From like the earlier slides.
Yeah, so these are his two kids, and this is Queen Elizabeth, his mother. So I'm going to since you've been reading a lot, I'm going to read this one for you so you can catch your breath, drink water, but you have to be listening, okay? So, unless you want to read, would you like to read?
Sure, I can read.
Okay, go ahead.
There will be music, readings, and the ritual of anointing the new monarchs using oils of orange, roses, cinnamon, musk, and ambergris ritual. A way of doing something in which the same actions are done in the same way every time. Anoint. To make someone holy in religious ceremony by putting holy water or oil on them. Musk. A substance with a strong sweet smell. Ambergris. A rare waxy substance that comes from the intestines of sperm whales. The new king will take the coronation oath in front of the watching world. During this elaborate ceremony, he will receive the orb and sceptre as symbols of his new role, and the Archbishop of Canterbury will place a solid gold crown on his head. Orb, a ball-shaped object with a cross on top of it, used as a symbol of royal power and carried by king or queen during some official ceremonies, together with a scepter, a decorated stick. Head of the Commonwealth. Charles has become head of the Commonwealth, an association of 56 independent countries and 2.4 billion people. For 14 of these countries, as well as the UK, the king is head of the state. These countries, known as Commonwealth realms, are Australia, Antigua, and Barbuda, the Bahamas, Belize, and Canada, Grenada, Jamaica, Papua New Guinea, Saint Christopher and Nevis, Saint Lucia, Saint Vincent, and
Saint
the
Lucia, can you say that again?
what?
Saint Lucia.
Saint Vincent.
No, Saint Lucia before that.
Oh, Saint Lucia,
Okay.
Saint Lucia, Saint Vincent, and the Grenadines. New Zealand, Solomon Islands, Tuvalu, realm, a country ruled by a king or queen.
Okay. Another country I want to fix you on is Grenadines. Okay, can you say that with me?
Grenadines.
Good job. So moving forward, this is King Charles now. This is how he looks. So there's a news article that I want to pull up. It's actually a little video, but we're gonna skip over that. So essentially, the news video, this article is about the first speech as a monarch after the death of his mother's Queen Elizabeth II. So instead of playing the video, we're gonna move on and we're gonna just read about it at a different moment. I'm gonna find it for next class and paste it as an article rather than watching and wasting our time. We're gonna go into
Okay.
descriptive writing now. So this is a descriptive writing example and exercise. Do you know what descriptive writing is?
Like describing it, like feeling that like in a book, if they're describing it really well, you can feel like you're in the book.
Okay, yeah, good job. That's essentially what it is. Its primary purpose is to describe a person's place in a way that forms a picture in the reader's mind. So capturing events through descriptive writing involves paying close attention to details and using all five of your senses. And this is what most journalists also use when they're capturing news articles because it gives the reader a more insight of what's happening. So
Okay.
today we're going to talk about an example, and the excerpt that we will be reading is from the book of Anne of Green Gables. Have you heard of it?
Nope.
Okay, so it's a very famous book. Um, it was it was actually originated from Canada, but it's been so famous that the states have adapted it as one of their own. So let's first read about the author, Lucy Maud Montgomery.
Lucy Maud Montgomery, November 30, 1874, April 24, 1942, was a Canadian author best known for the series of novels beginning with Annie Green Gables, published in 1908. The first novel was followed by a series of sequels uh, with Annie as the central character. Montgomery went on to publish 20 novels as well as 530 short stories, 500 poems, and 30 essays. Most of the novels were set on Prince Edward Island, Canada, and most places in Canadian province became literature landmarks.
All right. Can you read about the book now? Ethan?
Okay, you were kind of being a little laggy.
Oh, really?
I couldn't really hear you last time. Right there. Annie Green Gables is best-selling 1908 novel by Canadian author. What? Hello?
Hello? Yeah? Do you
Can you
hear
hear
me?
me?
Hello? Do you hear me?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Hello?
Okay. Hello.
Yeah, I can hear you. I'm not saying anything. I'm just listening to you read.
Oh. Annie Green Gables is a best-selling 1908 novel by Canadian author Lucy Maud Montgomery, written as fiction for readers of all ages. The literature classic has been considered for a children's novel since the mid-20th century. It recounts the adventures of Annie Shirley, a young orphan girl, age 11, who was mistakenly sent to Matthew and Marilla Cuthbert, a middle-aged brother and sister who have a farm on Prince Edward's Island and who has intended to adopt a boy to help them. The novel recounts how Annie makes her way with the Cuthberts in school and within the town.
Okay. Can you hear me still?
Yeah?
Okay, perfect. So we're going to keep moving on. We're going to actually talk about the characters now. So we have Anne Shirley, who is actually the main character, and then Marilla Cuthbert and Matthew Cuthbert. So let's start with Anne Shirley.
Okay. Anne Shirley, an imaginative, talkative, red-headed orphan who becomes to live with Matthew Cuthbert and Marilla Cuthbert, who are siblings.
Okay, and then let's talk about Marilla.
Marilla Cuthbert, Matthew's sister. She is an austere woman who
Austere.
tries to subdue Annie's imagination, unusual ways, though she's conservative in her rules. She does not love Annie and has the glimmerings of a sense of humor and hidden soft side. Matthew Cuthbert, Marilla's brother, a shy, awkward man who takes a liking to Annie from the start. They become fast friends. The two become fast friends. He is a good listener because Marilla has primary responsibility for rearing the girl. He has no qualms about spoiling her and indulging her in pretty clothes and other frivolities.
Okay. So that being said, would you get along with Marilla and Matthew Cuthbert?
Maybe.
Maybe. Why do you think maybe?
Sometimes I can get a little impatient, but sometimes I can be patient.
Fair enough. Okay. I can understand that, especially with the type of person Matthew is, not like buying stuff or indulging in stuff. Definitely can you definitely need patience to live with that. So let's start off with a little excerpt from it. Let's talk about one of the story, like a part of the story now. So let's read this.
It was broad daylight when Annie awoke and sat up in bed, staring confusedly at the window. Attribute clause, through which window a flood of cherry sunshine was pouring and pouring in outside of which window something white and feathery. The flowers waved across glimpses of blue sky. EOP, the girl whose dad is the president, like the story. Verb plus ing equal one gerund, a verb turned noun in ing form. Do you mind? What the? Oh, that was weird. Somebody was calling. Do you mind asking you a question? Two present participle verbing working as an adjective or adverb. The guy took an exciting ride. Rising from the sea, the sun is so great.
Okay, so gerund is a verb turned into a noun. So that means it's actually a noun, but they're using it as a verb in this case. That's why it's like, do you mind my asking? That's the example. And present
Okay.
participle is a
Hmm?
verb working like an adjective and an adverb. So so that's why there's exciting and rising from the sea. These are actually verbs, but they're using it like an adverb slash adjective, okay?
Okay.
So you notice how this was was super descriptive? Do you see how she talked about broad daylight? Then she's talking about the cheery sunshine and something white and feathery, the flowers waved across the glimpse of the skies. She's talking about clouds when she's talking about this, right?
Yeah.
So it's a very detailed small blurb from the story, but we're going to read more about the story as well.
For a moment she could not remember where she was. First came a delightful thrill as something very pleasant, then a horrible remembrance. This was Green Gables, and they didn't want her because she was a boy. EOP. She wasn't a boy. EOP. End of paragraph.
Okay, so why do you think Anne want to stay? What do you think
Wanted to?
yeah, based on what you just heard.
Maybe because they're basically her only home.
Yeah, it's her only home. She's an orphan. She has her own bed. She's waking up to something so bright and beautiful. Obviously, she didn't have that when she was there at her orphanage, right?
Yeah.
So another thing about the story was like, I don't know if you remember, but the Cuthberts, Marilla and Matthew, they actually wanted a boy. They wanted a boy because they wanted him to help out with raising the farm, but they ended up with Anne, so that's why she thinks they're gonna send her back. So let's moving on, but let's read another excerpt from the story.
But it was morning, and yes, it was a cherry tree in full bloom outside of her window. With a bound, she went out of bed and crossed the floor. She pushed up the sash. It went up stiffly and creakily, as if it hadn't been opened for a long time, which was the case, and it stuck so tight that nothing was needed to hold it up.
Okay. So, do you know what a bound means? What does that mean?
Mm, I've heard of it. I think I might have forgot it.
So a bound actually means a leaping moment, right? Sorry, movement. So what that means is that
Oh
she
yeah, yeah, like
jumped out of
bounding
it.
around.
Yes. And a sash is a frame that's holding the glass. So when she pushed open the slash, she wanted to get some fresh air. That's why
Oh,
she pushed the sash. It went up stiffly and creakily, as if it wasn't been open for a long time. So she wants to get fresh air. That's another way of saying that, okay? So that
okay,
being said, class is now done, and I will see you next time, okay?
okay. Bye.
Bye.